Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we got a game in the Warspite for you. Probably, well, for sure my most played ship in the game. Probably my favorite, one of my favorites for sure. There's the build. The Nelson's the commander. If you don't have Nelson, I've always ran Cunningham traditionally. I think he's a great inspiration, especially if you're strictly a free-to-play player. He's a great battleship commander that you can put on every build. So it's worth boosting him anyways, and he works great as a commander for the line. So similar build, just you don't have the heals in slot 4, basically. Before we get too deep into it, closing in on 20,000 subscribers. Thank you all very much for the support of the channel. It's been outstanding. Talked to Wargaming the other day about getting some prizes lined up for if and when we actually do hit that milestone. They gave the green light. We're going to hash out the exact details of what they will be when we get a little bit closer. But last time, I think for the 10K stream, I think we had like 2 tier 4 premiums, 2 tier 5, 2 tier 6, plus a plethora of crates and other goodies. And of course, whatever, if you win, you can pick, the tier 5. Let's say you win a tier 5 ship. You can pick it as long as it's currently available to acquire through the game, then you can have access to it. So that's how the prizes will work. Going to try and see if we can get some of the CC camo as well to give away. So I'm expecting plenty of great prizes, but stay tuned. If you're not yet subscribed and you want to consider subscribing, I would definitely appreciate it. It helps the channel out, makes the videos easier for you to spot. And by the way, we do have a special guest coming up about halfway through this video. Stay tuned. A lot of you guys that have been around the channel have seen him before around here, but he might be a new surprise for some of you. So anyway, Warspite, what's the deal with this ship? Now, we have the black version here, of course, but the regular version, which is the one that says it's the most played ship on my fleet, that one's permanently available. If you go to the ships tab and then you scroll all the way over at the top, go past all the nations, there's a yellow flag nation, gold flag nation. That's all the permanently available premiums, and Warspite's on there. So I think it's probably, if you like battleships, you're going to like the Warspite. Let's just put it this way. Why is it? Well, check out these shots. Okay, we're going to be ripping these lasers off the entire match. Bullseye, bullseye, bullseye. That's all this guy ever talks about when we play the Warspite, if you know how to aim the guns. Now, if you're brand new to the game, you haven't learned how to aim yet or anything, you're constantly missing salvos. This thing doesn't turn you into Annie Oakley. Okay, you still got to figure out how to aim. But once you're actually putting the aim indicator or the the sights where they should be, assuming you want to hit the thing, then when you're pulling the trigger, look at these laser beams that coming out of here. Now here we got the catapult fighter in the air, but boom, he gone. You're in trouble if you got this thing shooting at you. If you're a tier 4 cruiser especially, you won't see too many tier 3s unless they're in a failed platoon. But the tier 4s, you'll see them. And those are the ones that don't have the armor to sustain this thing. So this thing's a dev strike machine if you know what you're shooting at. Anyways, here we're trying to blind fire this guy, aiming a little bit high. In my experience, you want to aim just a little bit low. Because basically when you're trying to blind fire someone in the smoke, number one, you want to see where the shots are emanating from, and then imagine where the turrets are in relation to the ship. So you got to aim down below the thing anyways. But I think since the ship isn't physically there, you're not locked on the target. The shells are traveling a little bit further, if you consider the depth of the ship not actually being there, rather than hitting the ship where you think you're aiming, the shells continue to go on. So I usually, if I'm missing those blind shots, it's usually a little bit high. Minikaze here, though, this guy's a problem. It's kind of the poor man's kamikaze, as we were talking about in the stream the other day. Bullseye, bullseye, bullseye. Take over, have his health down, and then check this out. Teammates piling on him. This is great. If you're on a team that shoots destroyers, you're probably going to win the game, because a lot of teams refuse to shoot the destroyers. They're piling on, and then I think everyone's like, okay, well, the destroyer on the right, he's getting shot from off screen, so his attention's moved on. The other guy might have said, okay, this guy's about to die, let's let someone else take him. We got the guns loaded. Front guns pointing right at him, back guns is in the process of turning, pointing out the right-hand side of the screen. Minikaze, dead, shots away in the emerald, and it's a bullseye there with a he gone on that one. Take it away, Little John. What? What? Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you, Little John. So, it's a fun ship to set up double strikes with, because you got the accuracy to hit these shots. Those usually kind of relatively high pressure shots. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you miss them, of course. But when you're looking for the double strikes like I am, that's kind of what I like to do in this game. A lot of people like to pursue Krakens. I like to pursue double strikes. If you're looking for them, they're relatively rare. You don't want to be missing the shots when the shots are available. So we got them there with that, luckily the turrets were kind of in the process of swinging around. Anyways, Warspite, the one main negative of this ship is when you're in the tier 5, tier 6 matches, the armor scheme begins to drop off a little bit. Now, most battleships you can say, all right, when you're down tiered, the armor is not necessarily what we would like it to be. Yeah, I get it. It's a common problem. I'm just saying Warspite's not exactly invincible depending on what's shooting at it. If it's a lot of the tier 5s and most of the tier 6s can kind of overmatch the armor. So if you get yourself in situations where even though you're trying to angle it, you got multiple battleships shooting at you, you can kind of get into trouble at those point in times. Check out the game, though. Here, we got C for free. That was conceded. I don't believe Red sent any resistance over there. B was a bit of a fight. We had the Minikaze. We had a couple cruisers around there. We fought them off. A, they just drove those guys down. But Red is deploying the common capture the base mode strategy. I think it's slightly more viable for capture the base mode. The let's clump up in the southwest corner of the map for no reason strategy. One of the most common strategies in the game. For sure the most common strategy on this map. No doubt about it. But even in the game, one of the most common deployments is fault line southwest side. I have no idea. It's one of the worst plays in the game as well. But when we factor in the fact that we're in domination mode game, there's no caps over there. You're playing behind the caps like this. You got 3 caps in the enemy's hands. You're in deep trouble because there are only 2 ships down right now. How many points are they down? They're down, what, 450, 550? I can't even count that high. I have no idea how many points it is, but it's a lot. So when you do this strategy, when you're like, okay, we're not playing the caps, we're just going to concede all the bases like this, you're not going to win the game. Okay, you're going to win that game maybe once out of 20 times. If your win rate's plummeting through the floor, it's because you're not playing the caps. If you care about your win rate at all, you got to actually be playing the objectives. So anyway, this game, not in contest at this point in time, but the Warspite, once again, there's not a lot of premiums that I really give a strong buy recommendation on. That's usually not how I like to view my role here, because I'm really hyper-focused on the fact that the value of $1 or the value of dinero or whatever is different to everyone, right? Some people got a lot of the monies, some people ain't got any of the monies. So for me to say, well, this ship is worth it, that doesn't necessarily ring true to everyone. My advice on certain ships, though, like Warspite, I think is an outstanding ship. There's a couple other ones mixed in here that I think they're just almost everyone who likes battleships that gets the Warspite likes the Warspite. I very, very, very rarely hear any battleship player that likes battleships say, I don't like the Warspite. There's like a Kid, for instance, a destroyer. I think that's one of the best ships in the game. But not all destroyer players like the Kid, because it doesn't do what a lot of destroyer players like to do, which is torp backline Bettys sitting in their battleships buffing their Dewey. Not designed to do that. It's designed to kill the people that are trying to do that. So which is, one of the great reasons that the Kid is awesome. But the Warspite, blowing up cruisers, there's really nothing better in the game. Shooting those destroyers, even at distance, battleships, there's really nothing that competes with it. And it's got the slugging power to go toe-to-toe with most battleships 1v1. The one weakness it has is when it starts to get focused by multiple battleships. So I do recommend it for anyone who's inclined to spend some money on the game beyond the campaigns. This is the ship that I blanked rank with when I was playing with Chili. I was in the Warspite. He's in the Gaiety. I'm primarily there to kill the cruisers and help them kill the destroyers. And that's how we swept that series of rank that a lot of people watched. I don't know, it was probably the last 9 months to 12 months ago. Who knows when it was, but this is the ship that I was in to do that. And here we're trying to actually set up a double strike with both shots, though. Someone else got the battleship, and Mayhan lives to fight another day. So anyway, that's a look at the Warspite for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Like I say, we're trying to get to the 20K subscribers. Help us out there if you please. Questions, comments, leave below. Love to hear from you, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.